Welcome to the first episode of the new School of Morton podcast. I'm Scotty Campbell, along with WWE Hall of Fame inductee, one half of the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton. We are at the School of Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, Scotty. I was just listening to that one half. The rest of my body's going to be walking in the door in a minute. But no, buddy, thank you. Along with Robert Gibson, like you said, I am one half of the Rock and Roll Express. Man, you know what? I am been so excited coming up with the podcast from the School of Morton, and especially, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here. There's no one else. I've been looking for somebody to help me do a podcast. And man, it's just a great honor and a great pleasure because, Scotty, I've been looking forward to doing this. And I thought about Scotty Campbell a lot. I want you to know this and hear this because, when I'm on the road, it's like I got an alarm clock in my body. No matter if I go to bed at 8 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up at 5 o'clock. When you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're drinking your coffee and you're watching, now I get to the fact I don't even like to watch, unless it's the local news. Yeah. And I'm serious, I don't. But somehow my radio finds 92.9 every morning. And guess who's on there? Scotty Campbell.
That is me.
You do a great job, dude.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you being on part of the School of Morton. Looking forward to it, man.
There's nowhere that I would rather be, to tell you the honest truth. It's a great opportunity for me to be here. I do host the morning show on Super Talk 92.9 in the Tri-Cities of Tennessee and Virginia. And Ricky Morton, the purpose of this podcast is for you to express yourself. Tell your perspective, your view on things. It's been an incredible year, 2017, for the Rock and Roll Express.
Wow. Guys, every event that happens, you think it's the greatest event. I can say when Robert and I first won the World Tag Team Championship for the first time, it was the greatest moment in our career. And then we got older. And you think when you get older in this business, things don't happen. Even to work up to the 2017, wow, man, this business has been mind-blowing. Getting inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame and the perks that come with it, man, what a great time that we have and what we enjoyed. Because people don't even understand. After you've been away I've been on the independent circuit for a long time, and then all of a sudden WWE calls you. And it's just like it's mind-blowing, to understand that after all this time that we spent on the road, and really we wasn't a really big part of WWE. But when they call and they tell you, and man, what a compliment this is, that we cannot have a real Hall of Fame unless the Rock and Roll Express is in it. Man, and that blew my mind. And I'm telling you, I got cold chills. I'm a grown man. I cried. And I did. My wife and I cried together. Because that's what when you're outside this business, that's something that you look so forward to. And man, when we went to WWE, to the Hall of Fame, it was scary at first until I took 2 steps in the door and it was like I never left. The guys treated us so good. Vince McMahon, Vince has got his own personality anyway. Vince ain't going to come up and hug you. If he says hi, that's a great welcome. That's just Vince. That's just the way he is. But all the other boys, man, they were there. First class, everything.
How did WWE welcome you home? And with that, I mean, when did that phone call come? Before you told us, before WWE told us, the people around the world, when did you know or have an inkling that you might be in the 2017 class of the WWE Hall of Fame?
About 4 months ahead of time. And it was the hardest thing in the world. You listen to me now. I had to, it was like I was hooked on some kind of drug. But I had to talk. I had to tell somebody. But we didn't. We didn't tell nobody. And it kind of led up to it. Because, dude, this is one of the greatest moments in my career and in my life. And it kind of hit it around to it. It's a big announcement from WWE. We're going to be at the 50-50 Club and all this stuff. And it kind of hit it. But boy, man, we gathered all at the club, and everybody was there, my wife, and I knew, and it come on, inductee for the 2000, and you talking about cold chills then, and you talking about tears coming down your face. Me and my wife both, and all the boys that was there, man, they're hugging, and what a video they shot.
Yes.
Great video, man. Just for me talking to you about it right now, wow, I mean, I feel like I got a buzz or something, you know. Yeah, I'm serious. Look at my skin.
I can see that. Cold chills galore.
Oh, yes.
And to have the opportunity, you've worked so hard. It took so many miles of travel, so many years, so many double drop kicks, a dedication to the industry, to the sport that you care so much about, to lead you and Robert Gibson together into the WWE Hall of Fame. That is a short list.
Well, that is a short list because you don't understand, even from 1985 into the people around here first seen us win the world titles, they don't know that Robert and I were tag team way before then. Louisiana, Memphis, Oklahoma, when they had territories, and up to even now. You know, this weekend alone, I traveled on my car. I drove along a little bit over 1,100 miles doing shows. That's not all in one day. I did a circuit, and I still, Robert and I, gosh, and I tell everybody, man, we are still very active in the business. That's my motorcycle going down the road. Don't worry about that. But, you know, we're still very active in the business, and it's not that part. I know that I'm 61 years old. I don't go out there to impress anybody, but I go out there when people pay to see us. Robert and I always give the money's worth, no matter what. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Ricky Morton, can you still fly? I says, yeah, but my landing gear is a little wore out. but other than that, man, we really do good, Scotty.
Most definitely. Now, with all that 2017 has had, including just a few days ago, Big Time Wrestling, where you teamed with Robert Gibson and Terry Funk. Now, how old is Terry Funk now?
How old's Terry?
What is he?
Let's see. I watched him when I was a kid. No, I don't know. I would say Terry's 75. You know, but Terry was retired. He come out of retirement. Go ahead. I know where you're going. I want to feed into this. I want you to ask me.
Your opponents, Jerry the King Lawler, Brian Christopher, and Doug Gilbert. But what did Terry Funk have to say?
Oh, boy. Let me tell you here. Beep, 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 beep.
Blank, blank.
Tonight, Jerry Lawler, No, how did it feel? And I got to say this. I worked with the best wrestlers ever in the business. The best. Ric Flair, all the way down. And I'm going to say this, but by stepping in the ring, not only I think this, and a lot of guys do, Jerry Lawler was the best storyteller, the best guy that he could step in a ring with a broomstick and have people booing him because they feel sorry for the broom. And I'm very serious about this. This is the greatest thing. Jerry Lawler is one of the greatest ever. And Terry Funk, man, he's, Terry's just crazy. And I mean, he crazy on a horse with no neck. He absolutely, I'll never forget, I was in the Kawasaki Stadium in Japan. And boy, you talking about, they had a barbed wire bomb and a fire match. And I'm back here in the back, dude, and at this show, man, there had to be 30,000 people, we're at a baseball stadium, and I'm standing back there, and I hear, Ricky Morton, beep, 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 come here, beep, beep. Yeah, so I get up there, and Terry has got a big, like a 5-gallon, 2 of them, buckets of water. And he tells me, he says, Ricky Morton, if you see any fire on me, hit the ring and put me out. All right, put my beep out. All right,
that's classic.
But then they didn't know where to go. I said, Terry, they won't let me get up close to the ring. He says, I don't care. He said, you better be sitting ringside with those 2 buckets of water.
He was looking out for number 1.
Well, you ain't kidding. He was. Terry's a great guy, hard worker. Terry worked late into his career too. And I'm telling you, doing moonsaults off the top rope to the floor. Even at 70 years old. Terry's great. I'm going to be in Amarillo in a couple of weeks. And last year, I was out in Amarillo, and I asked the promoters out there, I says, have you ever seen Terry? We don't know how to get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. But Terry was there, and this is going on. All of a sudden, the door opened up, and Terry Funk walked in the door.
Ricky Morton.
And I was doing a seminar, and Terry's from the old school. Boy, he hopped in that ring. I got a seat and went and sat down, because I like to bite out beep beep the way you beep beep do this. Okay, it was cool. I really loved it.
There's only one Terry Funk, that is for sure.
Oh yes.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about social media before we get into the main purpose of today's show. The main purpose of today's show is to talk about winning the NWA Tag Team Championships in Shelby, North Carolina. We're going to get to that. I want to talk a little bit about where folks can find you at this time. So Facebook, at School of Morton.
Yeah, let me start off with this first, though, because, this has come up to me many a times. In 1985, 86, 87, and even before then, we didn't have social media. Thank God we didn't. But, no, the magazines is what really got us over. But I'm going to answer your question, Scotty. I'm just trying to be a little goofy right now. We're on Facebook, School of Morton. We're located in Chuckey, Tennessee. Twitter is Real Ricky Morton. And then I have my Facebook, Ricky Morton. And, man, you know what? You remember the movie The Field of Dreams?
Yes.
Build it and they will come. And folks have got to really understand. And I'm here to tell you the truth about, because, but, dude, I'm not somebody. I don't want people to think that I'm somebody I'm not. We, with James Strange and Lisa, they helped me so much. We started the school down here in Chuckey in a little corner over there with a homemade ring. And then we grew, and as you can see what it is now with all the students, and we have people that come from everywhere. We have one guy, matter of fact, that's sitting over here, come from Jersey Shores. I was telling you, early guy from Dixon, Tennessee. A lot of them come from Virginia, Knoxville, Cleveland, Tennessee, Lebanon, Tennessee. But this is what I try to preach. Wrestling's what I know. I might not be right about everything, but I'm never wrong.
No.
I don't know everything about the business. I don't have the answers to everything, but I promise you this. Only a few make it to WWE, okay? But there's so many out on the independent circuit that I'm just trying to tell you, and I'm not being mean to you. I have the school for you to make you better at performing, that when the people pay to see you, that I would teach you things to make them come back to see you. If the people understood how much, the wrestlers, how much I love this business, how much dear it is to me, and it's really not that I'm a bad guy and I try to say something bad to you, I'm trying to help you. I say something bad to you for you can make me wrong, okay? And I don't know if you understood what I meant by that. If I can make me wrong, that means that you're getting better.
Improvement.
And here at our school, and understand, we have all different sorts of people here. When you walk through my door, everybody here is the same. There's not one person that's over anybody. Just because you're a better wrestler or you're a better athlete or you're better, don't mean nothing to me, bud. We're all the same. We have kids that even come in here, and I have been criticized about training children in here, but who are you kidding? I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. We are in an entertainment business. Some do it better than others, and some don't. But I promise you, I had the kids that they insulted me about are better than they are. Okay, and I'm serious, they are. Anybody get a chance. We run shows here. Matter of fact, we have one coming up on the 8th on Sunday. And our school got so big that we used to run one show a month. We first started on Sundays, then we had to go 2 nights. Then we go Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But now we have to run 2 shows a month. Matter of fact, I will be wrestling because I'll be on the road. The other 2 is October the 15th here at school. Matter of fact, I am the School of Morton champion. Wow, I don't know how that happened.
We're going to need to talk to the booker about that.
But I'm not the booker.
Talent relations. Okay. There's somebody not seen here.
Everything's changed. They don't call it a booker no more. It's a shot caller. Oh, yeah, but it's still the booker to me. No, man, it's great. As you can see behind you on the board up there, look at all the shows we have coming up. It's all the way into December. We do great times, man. And I absolutely love this place. It's changed my life. But like you said, I have to take advantage of the situation that's given to me, especially since they put us in the Hall of Fame. Robert and I are gone a lot. But I have great people here at my school. Matter of fact, one of the members of the Bullet Club, Chase Owens, he'll be here today teaching school. You know, he stays in Japan a lot, but he's home this week. We have different people come in. You know, Glenn Jacobs, Kane, you come in, Joe, the Road Warrior. We have a lot of people. You never know who might show up.
Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Oh, Manny's here all the time. I love Manny with, you know, that flying burrito but Manny's a great guy. But you know, and it's all about our business. But I encourage you, people who are out there that you are listening to me. If you're an independent wrestler, I know that you're good, but why not get better? Come to the school. You get criticized a lot. Oh, they're here about every dime, and I'm telling you this, every dime that comes in this door, we put back into the school to make it better for our students. And a lot of times that don't work. A lot of times we still have to put, you know, because I want them to know that, that when they come here, they're making this school better, but you're a part of something. When you're, you know, and especially our younger kids, and they come here and they find out that being a part of something means a lot. I taught a lot of them things that's went out the window a lot. Just how far a yes sir or no sir can get you in life. And I'm a victim of this myself, is how important your education is. I mean, you talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Times are different a long time ago, but I have no one to blame but myself. I'm the only one that can blame that. But the kids these days, I want to teach them, especially when you're around this area, the Tri-Cities area. I have been around the world this is a big world. And we try to teach them about how to get the education and go see it. Really cool, Scotty.
I've said before that I always found in life that there are opportunities out there if you look for them, if you have some interest. And I know I see a twinkle in your eye. I see a love for this school and these students. I've seen you train students here a bit. I've seen them perform here at the School of Morton. Will you step back for a minute with me? Tell me about when this dream started for you, this particular part of the journey, the School of Morton.
I thought about it for a long time, but, you know, thinking about it and trying to pay the bills. And like I said before, I'm going back to what I just told you a while ago. I wasn't educated enough to know that I got messed around. I actually got robbed. And I did. And it's my own fault because I wasn't educated enough to know. But me and James Strange talked about this for a long time. Matter of fact, it all started at McAdoo's up in Johnson City. We met there one day, and we talked about this. And we talked about it. Then I met him again. We talked about it. And we've been here for going on 4 years. But it was 3 years ahead of that. But I always wanted one. But you had to have the right place. And I don't know if anybody out here knows, you know, they say, a lot of people say, where is Chucky, Tennessee at? Well, you need to ask Worm. No, I'm just kidding. Worm is one of the guys that's on your show every morning. He's from Chucky, Tennessee.
Yes, indeed he is.
And boy, you let everybody know that too. But Chucky, Tennessee, if you go outside and you look, there's 2 buildings. There's another one down the road here. It used to be the old post office, I believe. But it's nothing here.
I saw a John Deere tractor, actually, on the way to the building today, to the School of Morton.
Well, half the people that come here drive tractors. No, I'm just kidding. No, but they come from everywhere. Once you come here and you see what we got, there's not a better place that I could have put this school. If you're in a big city, most of the time people, and it's not being mean, that people come in when you're trying to teach but we're out here in the middle of nowhere. And I told you, the Field of Dreams, you build it and they will come, because we run shows here. This place gets wild. Anybody out there, if you want to come down, it's, you know, like I said, everything that we do, we put back into our building. It's only $5 to get in to watch the guys from the School of Morton. And I promise you, 99% of the time, it's better than any other show that you're ever going to watch.
I want to talk about this Sunday, October 8th, at the School of Morton, and who's going to be performing here at the school, and what folks can expect when they step into the School of Morton in Chucky, Tennessee.
October the 8th now. I won't be here on that show. I'll be on the road. Matter of fact, doing some personal appearances for WWE. Our students will be here. And if you follow our Facebook, and now to try, I tell people all the time, so go on to School of Morton Facebook and just check it out. But they don't understand. It's like we run a TV program. on the School of Morton. You can see all the feuds that's going on and the interviews that comes up. One of our boys that you met earlier, Wesley, he the Princess of Darkness in it, and he'd be going against Buster coming up, and
Buster Dooley.
Buster Dooley. Man, you know what? The Dooley brothers, man, they got a great following around here.
Yes, they do.
When they go to the ring, man, it's really hard to hear. And, you know, we got them. Maverick could be here. And Barrett is one of my students here that really has come a long way. He is a true product of what you can become at the School of Morton. Without going any further saying about that. Maverick, and he's wrestling. Is it Romeo you're wrestling? I don't know who Romeo is, but he's one of our students. No, we have here we put a lot of different characters out. And I was just kidding. I know who all of them are, but if I tell you his name, it spoils the purpose of the school. Looking forward to that. And then October the 15th, the following week, I will be here defending my School of Morton title against Elliott Russell, one of the Heat Seekers. You know, he was formerly an NWA World Tag Team Champion, too. Then you have the Dooleys back here. Both of them will be there then. And man, we have Big Red. We call him Big Red. And people, you need to come and see him. His name is Lawrence, but gosh.
Luscious Lawrence.
Yes, and he is really cool. Man, he's something to see. I guess he started here maybe 3 months ago, and you cannot believe how he's come along. This boy's ready to hit the road. Another thing about this business, I told David Cash and I told Chase Owens and all of them about this right here. To make it in this business, buddy, you have to go get it. It don't come to you. It's like you said. You know, I hear people complaining about, well, there's no work here, is over there, but you have to go where the work is, and that's what you got to deal with.
I think that you have to put yourself out there.
Oh, gosh, you do.
You have to learn. You have to grow. I've been in the radio business 18 years now, and it took 18 years for me to get my own morning show. It wasn't an overnight success thing. I worked in Nashville a decade on the radio at the top station down there, but I could fill in for everybody, but I wasn't in the main event. You understand? I wasn't the morning show. But that opportunity came to me here at home. You know,
and people think about, well, Ricky Morton, I watched you when you first started in 1985. Now, Ricky Morton first started in 1976. You hear me? You didn't see Ricky Morton until 1985 because between 1976 and 1985, I was getting the crap beat out of me in the first match. You hear me? Same thing you did. I had to work myself up to get there.
Absolutely.
But that's the way we learned. And I learned from some of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
I have no doubt, with your father having been a referee, you probably spent several hours putting the ring together.
Well, I grew up in a wrestling business. My dad, he pulled the ring for Nick Goulas. Gosh, man, ever since I can remember. You know, we went to school, and if it wasn't at the big shows like Nashville or something where the ring was already at in that day you call it the spot shows. You go to the smaller towns. My dad had to pull the ring. We had to go with him and help. We put the ring up, and during that time, watching wrestling, and my dad helped me with the wrestling. And I was told by promoters that, you know, you'll never make it in the business. It was too small. But my dad, he always had that confidence that he didn't tell me, but he knew. And he'd always tell me, and I remember when I left for Memphis to go to Louisiana. My dad worked the Memphis territory, and I got lost in the shuffle there with the Fabulous Ones, and that was their territory. So we went to Louisiana, and my dad told me, he said, "Son, I will be there. I'm gonna come," and it kind of threw me off because I didn't really know what he was talking about. I'm gonna come. Robert and I went to Louisiana and hit it, boy. And then we went to TBS, Atlanta, Georgia, NWA, and we shocked the world. The Victory Row that shocked the world. And we had the great big match in Starrcade against Ole and Arn Anderson. My dad called me. He says, "I'm on my way." I said, "What are you on?" He said, I'm coming to watch my boy. The one but I knew my dad was behind me all those times without saying a word. He always had faith in me. And I'm going to tell you this and go there, I have faith in my students. You can't learn this business overnight. A lot of things I tell my students and my dad told me. I could tell you this right here, but me trying to explain it to you, I'd be better off talking to that wall. Because you're not going to know what I'm talking about, but one day it will hit you, and then it's going to blow your mind. And I call it learning the magic. when you learn that magic by this business is unbelievable.
And you probably can't predict when that's coming for one of your students, but you're giving them all the tools.
Well, you just said that. It reminded me of something. David Kid Cash. I always told David this, and I can always, man, I'd get on to him, and I know I can listen. He thinks I'm going away. He don't know nothing. Man, he's bad. He don't know nothing. But then I got him, same thing. I took him to WWE, got him a tryout, and it didn't come overnight. Mm-hmm. But he got a job. Then finally they got a little move. Then I'm at home. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and my phone rings. And then it's David, and I'm asking him, David, man, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, go to bed, and he's, no, I wanted to tell you something. He says, and he was crying. And he said, man, all the things that you told me, it hit me tonight. I realized what you've been talking about the whole time, and I was stupid for not listening to you and understanding it. And when it hit me tonight, this business is so much better. It means so much more to me. And thank you for that. And I told him, that's great. Bye. Clear.
Don't call Ricky Morton at 4 a.m. for the record. Right. So I've seen Kid Cash in some indie shows in Nashville in the past 5 years or so. He is a heat machine as if it were the late 70s or the 1980s. He can get the passion out of people in those stands.
Oh, yes. David, he's a little temperamental. You know what I'm saying? But he'll bring the best out of you in a match. And that's what counts. That's what's really good.
Thank you, Ricky Morton. We'll continue our conversation in just a few moments. But first, I want to encourage you, if you have any questions for Ricky Morton, WWE Hall of Famer, tweet those to @RealRickyMorton and myself, Scotty Campbell, @ScottyIsOn, SCOTTY is on, via Twitter with the hashtag #ExpressYourself. And we'll answer as many of those questions as we can here on the podcast in the future. Now, before Ricky Morton rejoins us from Chuckey, Tennessee, which is the home of School of Morton, where Ricky Morton and staff train students from different walks of life from different parts of the United States of America. I encourage you to see some of the video footage now on Facebook at School of Morton, Twitter at Real Ricky Morton, and our guest at this time here on Ricky Morton's podcast with your co-host Scotty Campbell. My guest at this time is a student at this school that is excelling very much. That's what I hear. This is Maverick.
How you doing, Scotty? Thank you for having me on the show.
From New Jersey, correct?
The Jersey Shore.
The Jersey Shore.
The one and only Jersey Shore.
Yeah?
Yes. I'm very blessed. Lucky. You ever been there?
No. Haven't had the opportunity.
It's all right. One day.
There's still time.
Hopefully.
Walk us through, how did you find out about the School of Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee, you being from the Jersey Shore?
It's actually a pretty wild story. I moved to Asheville, North Carolina, and I had a dream of becoming a professional wrestler. I found a promotion. It was called TCW, out at Tim Toller's promotion, great promotion. I'm actually the champ there. Heavyweight champ. I was setting up chairs, working security, and getting trained by a guy named Abel Adams, who's an incredible wrestler. And I was probably maybe 2 months in, and Ricky Morton showed up one day. And I didn't even know how to run the ropes yet. And Ricky did a little training seminar, and he saw me, and he pulled me aside. He told me about the school, and he said, son, you need to come to this school. And I said, well, if Ricky Morton's telling me I need to come to this school, I need to come to this school.
On my way.
Whoop, whoop. So, yeah. And, it didn't happen right away. It took maybe 6 months for me to get there. But I made it, and I'm very grateful that I did.
When did you roll in to the School of Morton, and how does it feel, and what changes have you seen, Maverick, since you came through those doors?
It was February of, what year is it right now, 2017?
You got it.
So it probably was 3 years ago. There was one ring. There was one wall. Now there's 3 rings, an entire facility. Ricky wasn't even in the Hall of Fame yet. So it was, I don't know, maybe 20 guys. But they were serious. I mean, I got put through the ringer. I remember my first day, it was leapfrog, drop down, tackle. And I had to lock up with everybody and do it. It was all 20 guys. And I remember Chase Owens stood over me, And he just said, "Welcome to the business, kid." And I'm like blown up, the dashboard lights blinking. But it was, I don't know. I've loved wrestling my entire life. So I knew it was the right decision. Fate, destiny. I don't know if you believe in it. Sometimes everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely, it does. And with your time here, how is it to interact with Ricky Morton at this point? And what do you see other people learn? What kind of changes do you see some of these younger people?
Oh, I mean, I think I take it for granted because when I think about it, I'm like, Ricky Morton is the only rock star who I actually know. And it's, you get to interact with him daily. And he's such like a nice, good, like humble person that he gives his time to everybody. He's nice to everybody. So I have seen people like, I'm not going to mention any names, but guys who have gone from shy, frail little dudes who you don't even want to go out in front of the audience turn into just performers. And they just become themselves and they get more comfortable. It gets confidence. To see that is really, it's heartwarming because, I don't know, if you love wrestling like I love wrestling, you can see the joy and the passion in people when they do it. And if you believe it, the people believe it.
In your time in the Indies,
yes, sir,
and any other place where you've learned things, how does it feel here versus out there on the road?
Well, I guess you're safe here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're with your friends. Out there on the road, I mean, it's a bunch of lions, so people are going to take advantage of you if you let them. But luckily, Ricky teaches us how to handle ourselves properly, how to be respectful of everyone. Unfortunately, if a case were to go down where you didn't get along with a guy, how to handle it properly and like a gentleman, which is the most important thing.
Maverick, how can people reach you? I know that they can see Maverick's Minute on Facebook at School of Morton. I want them to lay their eyes on you. I want them to hear and see the promo and see the reactions that I've eyewitnessed in this building.
I mean, just go to the School of Morton, the SOM website. You can find me. I'm all over that. I'm a kind of low-key guy, Scotty. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep a low profile.
Maverick, thank you very much for being here and opening up a bit to give a perspective, your perspective of how it feels.
Scotty, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you. This is the School of Morton podcast. I'm Scotty Campbell with WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton, I just had the opportunity while you were out teaching some folks, some students, some wrestlers, I sat down and talked with Maverick about this school, which people can see Maverick on Facebook at School of Morton. And he shared a bit about his personal story from the Jersey Shore to Chuckey, Tennessee to the School of Morton, and he performs regularly here. He's traveling on the Indies. How does he make you feel?
How does David make me feel? What is going on? What day it is? No, not really. In our business, you only get out of it what you put into it. And David, and I tell David this all the time. I says, David, you could do this or you could do that. And I said, do you know why? I said, because you just can. David's one of the guys, and I love this. And you have to be a part of the school to understand. You never know what he's got. David lives in the back of the school here. I don't know if he told you that or not. We have a little place back there, and he lives there. And when you live somewhere, I can't understand how can you be late for school. How can you be late and you live here? I don't understand.
It's not supposed to work that way at all.
No, but it's great because, see, I know Dave, and I know what he's doing. He makes a grand appearance. And you never know what he's going to come out of the back, what he's got on. And this is great. I love this about him, and I tell him this. You don't know if he's going to come out with the tutu on. But understand me, if he did, nobody will say nothing. You know why? Because it's David. Oh, he comes out with some of the greatest costumes ever, man. I don't know. And I love this. But when he gets in the ring, he works hard. He listens to, see, I'm not the only one that's here. You have Chase Owens, you have other guys, Elliott Russell and them. And, sometimes personalities clash. But still, at the end of the day, we all love each other. And David's a big part of my school. But not only David, but all the boys outside that door, they're a big part of my school, too. Like I said, nobody's over nobody here. And I actually do. I mean, when you run a school and you see guys 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes you get attached to them. When somebody don't show up, it's not only me, but it's the other boys that's here. They're trying to get a hold of them. Are you sick? Do you need anything? Is your parents? One of our students here, his mother just had a heart attack, and I bet their phone blew up. And that's one of the Dooley boys, Nick. His mother had a heart attack, and sure did. But she's better now, and it's good.
So I want to segue over to the news that came today. We're recording this on Tuesday. This is going to be available for download on Thursday, and that's how you found it. But today, Tuesday, Lance Russell, Memphis Wrestling commentator, the voice of Memphis Wrestling, passed away at the age of 91.
Wow. It reminds me, it's Memphis, big part of my life. It's where it really started, and my daddy started. And as I'm telling you, I know Lance Russell since I was a kid. Everything in life has got to come to an end sometimes. Lance, not only that, he just lost his daughter last week from cancer. I don't know what the fact, but, Lance was 91 years old. He lived a good life, but when Lance died, that's the day the music died in Memphis, Tennessee. Lance was was there with the best of the greatest commentators. Matter of fact, he made Memphis, Tennessee wrestling. Him and Dave Brown did every Saturday morning in Memphis. But, our TV show was on a bicycle tape, and you understand what I'm talking about, that the next week it showed Nashville, Louisville, Evansville. Lance was all over that area. Personally, Lance was just a great friend of mine. I never heard, and I'm serious, and you meet people like this. I never heard Lance say anything bad about any person, and I never heard anybody say anything bad about Lance. Great guy to talk to. He had that voice. Well, folks, it's great. I actually loved Lance. Lance will be missed in the wrestling world. I just did a show for him last year, and it went for him. It was, we're in Jackson, Tennessee, and it was a Lance Russell and Dave Brown show. Gosh, it was great. Spent a lot of time with Lance that night, too.
Lance Russell, I had the chance to meet him twice, and I saw class. I could feel the class around that man. And not many people give me that experience in these modern times, frankly.
I never seen him without a suit on. You know that? I mean, never blue jeans, never a pullover shirt. Always top-notch dressed. I mean, he was profiling and styling, too. Okay.
We lost another very loved person that rarely wore a suit, but he wore plenty of sequins. And, well, some of us saw him in the late 80s as the Weasel, as we lost Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Funny that you say that, because I just brought this book to the school today. And I got to tell you, we got new furniture at our house, and I was at the end table when I was pulling it out, cleaning it out. Guess what I pulled out of there? Chair shots and other obstacles. Winning Life's Wrestling Matches. Bobby the Brain Heenan with Steve Anderson, forward by Ric Flair. And on the inside of it, check this out. My friend Ricky, Bobby Heenan. A lot of people don't know this. When you work small territories, and way before I come to Rock and Roll Express, I was wrestling with another partner by the name of Ken Lucas in San Antonio, Texas. Matter of fact, it was Tully Blanchard's daddy, Joe Blanchard, Southwest Championship Wrestling, and Tully wrestled there. We was all young kids at the time. But they was looking, and Nick Bockwinkel was looking, because in territory you can't wrestle the same guy when you come in. He was the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, and Southwest was affiliated with AWA. And to make this right, I was had a match that night. I was in a single match for something reason. I think Ken Lucas might have been hurt or something. Matter of fact, it's in the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas. But the Hemisphere Arena's been tore down since then and really did good business. Nick was in the night wrestling Scott Casey. Scott Casey was the top babyface at the time, and I had a match. When I come back, Bobby Heenan grabbed me. He says, what's your name, boy? I said, it's like that. What's your name, boy? I said, Ricky Morton. he talked to him, but he knew my dad. He said, "You're Paul Morton's son, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I met him in Memphis, blah, blah, blah." He said, "I just watched your match." He said, "Man, you're great. Your timing and the way you told a story in the match." And, great confidence into me, but I didn't think nothing about it. But I knew the next week on TV that, we did 3 TV tapings that night, and every one of them, and like I told you earlier, I'm not here to insult anybody. I know that I won 3 matches on all 3 tapes real quick. Big pop. Well, then the card came out for the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas. And in them days, guys, you got to understand, they drew 30,000 people then. Hemisphere Arena was a big building. That's where the San Antonio Spurs played basketball. And this is 35 years ago, 36, 37 years ago. So, we did interviews. So I went to do interviews. And lo and behold, man, I'm the main event against Nick Bockwinkel, managed by Bobby Heenan. Does that tell you anything? Bobby Heenan got that. Now, we had our match. Nick and I went an hour. In our business, we went an hour time limit, but we call it hour Broadway. Mm-hmm. And if the boys here understand, especially on independent circuit now, that they go over every spot, every move. I have never met Nick Bockwinkel besides saying hello. We never did went over. When we went straight to the ring and did an hour time limit and absolutely tore the house down. And the reason we tore the house down because, I listened to him. I showed him that fire and everything. And the greatest thing in the world, Paul Botch ran Houston, Texas. If you ever see Booker T, that big old ring he wears on his fingers, that used to belong to Paul Botch, the promoter of Houston, Texas. Well-loved man. Very known in our business, but he ran Houston, Texas, and great payoff guy. And in those days, you got paid every night. And Lord and behold, if I wasn't main event against Nick Bockwinkel in Houston, Texas, in a 2 out of 3 fall match. So, they've been showing the TVs there, and I go to the ring, and it's 2 out of 3. I beat Nick the first fall. The roof absolutely come off the building. But in years later, which I'm going to skip right here and come back to this, years later is when Robert and I became the Rock and Roll Express, Houston, Texas, at the same building, the Sam Houston Coliseum, for Paul Bosch. Dude, we sold it out every other Friday night, and that's the difference in our business today. We didn't sell the buildings out once every 6 months or once a year. We did it every 2 weeks or every week. And I'm not patting myself on the back because David made a statement earlier. If you believe yourself, what you're doing, the people will believe it. Our business was really sacred at the time. But I came back, and that night, needless to say, Nick Bockwinkel was a AWA World Heavyweight Champion. And, he, at the end of the match, he had to cheat to beat me. I put that in good words. But I came back, and I never, I was young, buddy, in the business, and Bobby Heenan liked me, and Nick Bockwinkel liked me, and Bruiser Brody and all them, man, they liked me. They said, "God, dude, you have a special talent," and that's when, I'm not saying that I was the best, and I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not, but I want every young person out there, don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something. If you want it bad enough, you go get it, and you can do it. This is my story, and I'm telling you that, man, I don't care what you do. If you want to be the best at it, you keep training, you keep working on it, and you become, and I did that every day. At my day in San Antonio, Texas, the ring always stayed up down at where they did the TV at. I'd go down and train every day in the ring. I did my own thing, but I'm going to just tell you this. But after that match was over, we got paid every night, and Paul Bosch come and gave me an envelope. Mm-hmm. And it was a real thick envelope. I opened it up, and it was full of $100 bills. It scared me. And I went and told Paul Bosch, I said, "Paul, I think you made a mistake. You gave me the wrong envelope." He says, "Oh, no, buddy, you deserve that." And I counted it, and it was $2,800 for one match. And I have never made over $100 for a match, you hear me? Besides San Antonio at the time, I made like $300, but he paid me $2,800. I was so scared I was going to get robbed. I wore cowboy boots at the time. I took my sock off. I put the money in the bottom of my sock on my foot, put my cowboy boot on. I couldn't wait to get to a payphone to call my wife. I said, "Honey, I made $2,800. I'm afraid I'm going to get robbed." Oh, man. Once she cried, my wife. That's a lot of money, buddy, back in
Better believe it.
In 1981 or 80. But that's how I got over. Bobby Heenan was the one that started that. He's one that gave me, actually, he's the one that really understood it. Had confidence, had faith in me. Gave me the opportunity to work with Nick Bockwinkel, buddy. And after that, a lot of doors opened up.
That got eyes on you that a lot of promoters probably hadn't had the chance to see you yet.
Oh, yes, and they filmed it. It showed a lot. You know what? And what really happened there, this is before USA. Joe Blanchard got nationwide TV on USA, and they showed me on there. And after they showed me on there, I was young. I was doing the Hurricane Caranas. I was doing the backflips off the top ropes. A lot of promoters seen that. Matter of fact, that's when Jerry Lawler come to San Antonio and took me back to Memphis. He did. He come to San Antonio and said, wanted me to come back to Memphis, and he put me and Robert together. After that, it was good, but we got lost in the shuffle. And that's when Bill Watts come in, and Bill Watts seen us, and buddy, and he told Jerry Jarrett, he said, I don't know what you're doing, but he said, well, those two boys right there come to get over. I want them two boys. And he made a deal with Jerry Jarrett that we would go work for him for 6 months and come back. But I knew it was going to be the same old song and dance. So we went there for 6 months. I came back. I walked in the dressing room, and I told Jerry Jarrett, I'll give you my week notice before we start anything here. He goes, well, I want to keep you here. I'm going to give you this much money guaranteed. I said, no, I'm going back to Louisiana. Thank you. Thank you anyway for the opportunity, and thank you for that, because he was one of the promoters that told me I'd never make it.
I've had positions before where I felt like there was a glass ceiling, and Bill Watts gave you, no, he didn't give you anything. He let you have an opportunity to go to that next level, did he not? Would you agree with that?
He never knew small guys before. When Robert and I first went there, I felt like I was in the land of the giants. Everybody there had 6'9". I'm serious, 6'9". Ernie Ladd, 7 foot? Ernie Ladd, 12'9". It's people like that. And when I walked into the dressing room, Robert and I did, but you had to understand Bill run a tight ship. If he said be there at 7, you be there at 7. If you don't, you got fined. And so many times he'd fire you. He was really strict. And I'll never forget, we walked in the dressing room, and he told the boys, he said, boys, it's doing something new. I got these two good-looking young baby faces, and when you wrestle them, it's like you're wrestling me. If they hit you, you better go down. Not boom, but it got us over. Nikolai Volkov. And same thing with just about what Dusty did. We come in and wrestled the Russians, but it was Nikolai Volkov and Barry Dorso, which was Crusher Khrushchev. At the time, that was before he went there. Man, we had a great, it's just a great run we had there.
July 9th, 1985, Shelby, North Carolina. The match you're talking about, Rock and Roll Express versus the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev, who was Barry Darso. Went on to be one half of Demolition in the WWF.
Yes.
What did that night mean to the career of the Rock and Roll Express, winning the NWA Tag Team
First
Champions?
of all, I want to tell you that we were still working in Louisiana. Jimmy Crockett had come down to see us in the Superdome, and he made us an offer, and Buddy, it was taking over TBS TV, and Robert and I had to go for it. In this business, when opportunity comes, you have to go for it, no matter if it makes you or it breaks you. You have to be at the right place at the right time. Now, what pitting that guys, I'm going back to you young wrestlers, and I'm going to answer your question here in a minute, Scotty, because it leads into something that I want everybody to know. We work in Louisiana. Nowadays, we're going the whole hour on TV. At that time, Shelby Rec Center wasn't air conditioned. It's in the middle of summer. The place, first time, it was absolutely, you didn't have fire martial laws. You didn't have, and I'm serious, the whole building was different. There was so many people in this building because they shot videos of us coming in. Dusty did a great job. The All-American kids, and we're going against the Russians. And I'm telling you, dude, they showed videos of us for a month before we even came in. And when you sit down and you go over every move in the match, I flew into Charlotte, okay? I still work in Louisiana because nobody's going to see that match until the following week. Okay, I flew into Charlotte, and my plane landed. It got delayed. It was 6 o'clock. Got in the car, got to Shelby, which Shelby's laying maybe 40 miles. And it's 7 o'clock. We're going an hour, and Dusty's there. And Dusty's just, We never worked for Dusty before. Dusty's seen this on the tapes, and blah, 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 and he's going over the match. And he goes, I just want this finish to be something where you come and I gave him the finish. I call it the victory row that was heard around the world. And I'm serious. If that would have messed up, I don't think that Robert and I would have been like we were. I mean, we would have still won the match. But the timing on it, see, that's young guys, listen to me, watch the match. The timing on it was so perfect. When I come up and jumped over the shoulders, 1, 2, 3. Now you asking me, what did this mean to me? And I didn't really even realize it till I got older. Robert and I won 1, 2, 3, and we took NWA to a level that nobody could ever. Now, Dusty got all the recognition for it, but we took it to a level that nobody, towns that were doing 800 people were doing 10,000 people. Greensboro Coliseum, Greenville Coliseum, Charlotte Coliseum were selling out in advance. People were camping out to get tickets. Now, can you imagine this? But another thing, too, 1985, you didn't have the basketball team. 1985, you didn't have a football team. 1985, when you was going up 85 Interstate to Charlotte, there was a big billboard of me and Robert. Watch Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling every Saturday, then TVS at 6:05. We were really rock stars and didn't know it. I bought a house in Charlotte. I woke up the first morning I moved in, and I heard noise, and I went outside, and there had to be 400 people in my front yard. I'm serious.
They found Ricky Morton.
Well, but I went out and I come out, and man, they cheered and bummed, but they took my furniture, my flowers, and my welcome mat, and then I told them, I said, guys, this is great, thank you very much, but you got to go. I mean, thank y'all. I mean, I love y'all. See, I live in a world of people, and my fans, I really love them, and God, if it wasn't for them, I would never been who I am. But it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get home till 3 o'clock. Y'all got to go. I love you all.
I love you, but I'll see you at the arena.
Yeah, come to the wrestling match and see me. Okay, I promise you. The police had to come out and get everybody. I mean, literally, I had to have a big fence put up around the yard. But gosh, Scotty, it was unbelievable. What a run, man. Gosh, we could talk for days about NWA, the stories and the great workers you had there. But what I'm saying to you earlier is we didn't get Barry Darso, which Crusher Khrushchev, and Ivan. The first time I met Ivan was when I got in the ring with him that night. Because we dressed on different sides. Our business was sacred. You didn't get to do that. And then they didn't tell nobody because the business was kayfabe so much. And I kept asking Dusty, and he could come to me. Then at the end, that finish that we went over was 3 minutes before we went to the ring.
Wow.
3 minutes before we went to the ring because we didn't want anybody to know.
Mm-hmm.
Sure didn't.
Tight-lipped. Go out there and make it happen, Ricky Morton.
Look at Dusty Rhodes. Look at the American Dream. I love Dusty's interviews because he'd start out 10-time world tag team champion. But when the interview was over, Dusty Rhodes, 42-time world heavyweight champion. There's nobody in the world better. In personal life, Dusty Rhodes was, God, what a man he was. Didn't always get along with him. Didn't always agree with him. He didn't always agree with me. But I actually loved him.
We can guarantee everybody listening to the School of Morton podcast that there are going to be plenty of Dusty Rhodes stories on future episodes. There are going to be plenty of talks about the NWA, WCW, Richard Morton at the time, as I recall, Rock and Roll Express and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and many more steps along the way. It's coming. Agree with me?
Oh, I agree with you. We got to do that, man. It's a great opportunity, man. I love sharing the stories. I love sharing everything about our business. And I love sharing to the young kids to let them know, dude, let's learn that magic together.
Now, 2017, still rocking and rolling. WWE Games, big business worldwide. Rock and Roll Express is in WWE 2K18. Honored?
Always honored. And I want to tell the folks something here, too. Since we was talking about Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes created Starrcade. And actually, I've been asked this question a many times, and I really don't have the answer. This is the first time I don't have an answer. First time I don't have something to say. Starcade. A lot of things on the internet about this and that and the other, but I really don't know. I know that we're there. I know that I prepared myself. You know what? I prepared myself for the last 20 years, even for the Hall of Fame, just in case they called. Now, my speech that I got up on there, everybody knows I was nervous, but I changed it because I decided to talk from my heart, and I think they loved that more than anything else. I know that I'm 61 years old. I'm in the gym every morning, just preparing myself, because even these young kids today that when you dream about becoming a professional wrestler, don't let your dreams ever end, because I'm still dreaming of wrestling at Starcade. And I hope that it happens. Never stop believing, never stop dreaming, never stop wanting. It's the only way you're going to make it in this business. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do nothing.
WWE has announced that Starcade returns to Greensboro, North Carolina, Saturday, November 25th. They're saying for the first time in 2 decades, double steel cage match main events, 2 of them, stacked card. And I see, down here in the details, I see Rock and Roll Express. I see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and many more at WWE's 2017 Starcade in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Now, I see this is what you see us down there. Now, Ricky Steamboat, he has retired. He don't wrestle no more. Matter of fact, he got hurt with the Shield. They really did hurt him. So we're down in that category. You understand me on that paper. But
appearing.
Yes, but in the fine print on every wrestling card I've ever seen, it says card is subject to be changed.
Yes, indeed.
And I hope it does. I would like for one more time, and if it does happen, y'all please come out, because this is for a time where Ricky Morton will go back to 1985. I'll be crazy. I'll be taking bumps that I probably won't be able to walk for another 2 months. Like I told you earlier, my landing gear's a little wore out, but I'll be landing all over the place. If it does happen, it'll be an honest pleasure. And if it does happen, that's why I prepared myself, even right now. Even if it don't happen, it's all right. But if it does happen, I promise you I'll be prepared to do it.
And you probably, just like me, have seen on Twitter a challenge by 2 WWE superstars, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They've challenged the Rock and Roll Express to a match at Starcade 2017.
Oh, yeah. Be careful what you wish for. We'll be looking for it. Scotty Campbell,
Ricky Morton.
You had one of the greatest podcasts today, and it made me feel so comfortable. Everybody out there, every morning, Monday through Friday, 92.9. I have learned and got educated more than I ever had in the last 6 months by listening to your show. Thank you, Scotty, for that. I'm one of them guys. I don't do drama. I don't like, and I like that about your show. I mean, people call in, and I would love to see your face from some of the answers or questions they give you. But you know what, buddy? You treat them so nice, and that's what I respect about you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky Morton. And we do. We talk local, state, and national issues on Super Talk 92.9 in the Tri-Cities of Tennessee, Virginia. But what I want you to know is here on the School of Morton podcast, you're going to get to hear directly from WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton. You're going to hear from him about 1 hour every single week. And in the meantime, I want you to follow his Facebook page, Facebook at School of Morton, also on Facebook at the Babyface Ricky Morton, Twitter at Real Ricky Morton. A lot of conversation to be had, a lot of footage to see there, a lot of events at the School of Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee. I love the venue. I love what I see here. I see a lot of young people that love who they're learning from, and they love a business that I've enjoyed from the stands, from the seats, from the risers, and from that floor model TV back in the 1980s.
And the old saying that Ricky Morton has, hanging from the rafters.
She said, Rama, lama, bama, lama.